going to
Maybe you
help
could do a little
reduce-
30-second of what Pulse is, because I
sure.
don't think we actually touched on that yet. We talked about it a few times, but just high level of Pulse.
Yeah. So, Ethereum is awesome compared to Bitcoin because you can actually do programmable money. You can actually do decentralized finance. You can actually do centralized exchange. So we have decentralized exchange. We have stable coins. We have algorithmic stable coins. We have the world's first blockchain time deposit, Hex. We've got margin trading, options, stupid meme tokens, stupid NFTs, you name it. It's all on the Ethereum network. Problem with that is Ethereum network now is clogged into death, and it costs, let's look it up. Let's look up what the terrible...
I did a few DeFi transactions this morning. It costs hundreds of dollars to get money into 3 or 4 places. You're spending $200, $300, $400 by the time you're done with a multitude of transactions you need to make. I mean, let alone one Uniswap transaction, $120, and gas is low. It's insane. ETH is insanely prohibitive to 95%, 99% of people.
Yeah, gas right now is low, and it costs on average $29 to send an ERC20. It costs on average $90 to do Uniswap swap. It's not.
What about to do a Hex stake contract? Probably.
I think staking is quite affordable, but end staking costs more because it's based on, it has to do an addition function every time you have an extra day that you earn interest. Okay. So your end stake costs are based on how long the stake was, but your start stake costs, they're very affordable. I think that PulseChain, what it does is it attempts to reduce the Ethereum fees by removing load from the Ethereum network. So if you have a copy, like if you use Decentraland or something, you can't do anything. You're just literally totally crippled because you can't afford to perform any function whatsoever. You're just screwed. And there are many, many, many projects that are totally and completely paralyzed by the Ethereum fees. They're disgusting. And the only way to reduce them is to add capacity, period. And so by forking the network and putting everyone's coins on a network with higher throughput, less negative externalities, no need to destroy the environment with proof of work, we're beating Ethereum 2.0 to market with their own feature set, but with all the coins. So it's just awesome. Like PulseChain, pulsechain.com, pulse.info, absolutely amazing.
What was the limiting factor in how much you could improve the throughput of Pulse compared to Ethereum?
Well, Geth sucks, and all of Ethereum is Geth, and it's trash. And Geth will tell you that they're limited by just EVM processing speed. I don't even think that's really true. I think there's other bottlenecks as well. And so what you don't need is another ghost chain that has a ton of capacity and no users. We have tons of those.
Yeah.
And so what you need is the right balance of users and throughput. And you don't need more throughput than you have users. And so you can scale the throughput up with the users. So we copied known good parameters from the BSC network, which is Geth-based fork of Ethereum, which didn't come with state. And they have absolutely massive gas limits per block, and they do 3-second blocks. So I actually don't know what I think to play it safe, because BSC nodes are almost falling over now. They're really, you just can't keep them in sync. But they're also under very, 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 very high load, doing multiple millions of transactions a day. The max you could do on Ethereum is maybe 1.5 million transactions a day. I think BSC is exceeding that currently. So, my position is, for instance, today we just made a design decision to drop the freemium. So originally, if you're an ETH holder, whatever you got for free, whatever Pulse you got for free would be removed from you 30 days later, so that you can't hurt the price if you didn't participate. But since they're already being diluted by 1,000,000x, so they're getting 0.000 whatever % of the total supply, it's just a waste of processing time to have nodes go down for who knows how long. I mean, so in our test, just to write all the balances for the sacrifice credits, it's 6 to 10 hours depending on the machine. And there's ways that we can get that down, but it's imagine now that instead of having to do it for 60,000 addresses, you have to do it for every Ethereum address. Silly. So the idea of reducing complexity, getting to market quicker, and having some Pulse in everyone's wallet when they want to try it at some point in the future, instead of just being like, oh, I have my ERC20s, but I can't do anything with them because I don't have any gas because it got taken away by freemium. It's just a vastly superior design decision to drop the freemium in light of the fact that they're already be diluted 1 million X. Technically a little bit more, but around 1
So
million
what do you
X.
see happening? You have everything that you have on, including your Hex, on ETH being forked over and added to Pulse. You're going to have two chains with the similar assets. Can you talk about what you think is going to happen in terms of, maybe you could address Hex specifically? What's going to happen?
Question.
Sorry?
That is an absolutely beautiful question. I think
What's
it's been a very good
price?
interview.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey,
From the people that
you
you said
question.
were too dumb to understand the project.
Nah, you're smart. Come on. You can't be a poker pro and be too dumb. Unless you're Chris Moneymaker. Just kidding. So I believe, so if these two prerequisites are there, I predict insanity. And these two prerequisites would be a bridge to the Ethereum network. So if there's a bridge to the Ethereum network, so you can take ERC20s and bridge them over onto the Pulse network.
Like Matic.
Like Matic, yes.
Okay.
Then, and I've got a separate team already building this pancake swap fork, which would allow you to take your bridged in ERC20s and combine them with the free copies that you got on the Pulse network. You're getting half of the yield farming for free. And then you're backing the value of the stuff that you just got for free with your bridged in ERC20s. That's sick. I mean, I think that could be the largest yield farming thing that's ever existed, because when have you ever gotten half of this pair for free? And it opens up like all the on-ramps and off-ramps. Like, you need to get in, bridge to Ethereum. You need to get out, bridge to Ethereum. And then I believe that other people will just directly support Pulse directly, right? Like, if you go to dharma.io, you can send Fiat in and get Hex on the Matic network, which is called Polygon now, or you can get Hex on the Ethereum network. You can choose. And so the Fiat on-ramps are now smart enough to know, hey, we can't pay a $20 penalty to on-ramp a user to Ethereum. Hey, you bought Ethereum? Okay, it's going to cost us $20 to send it to you. That sucks. It's absolute trash. So, and sometimes it's worse. I mean, 20 would be like average. Like sometimes it's 100. You want to on-ramp someone to Ethereum? Okay, that'll be $100. Oh, they need to buy through Uniswap? Okay, that'll be $300. It's untenable. So, but my point is, you could have the largest yield farming project and it solves all the Fiat on-ramp, off-ramp stuff until people integrate directly. And then so let's say we live in a world where no one builds out front ends for the Pulse chain, which would be very easy for them to do because they just point to another network. It's the same code. It's Geth, same code, right? So it'd be very easy for them to do. But let's say they didn't want to do that. Well, that's fine, because there's going to be your coin with your ticker on our network, and I'm willing to bet that the price on this network moves up and down with the price on the ETH network. And then you're going to have a derivative play on the Pulse network with lower fees, higher transaction throughput, the same code. Hey, you like Uniswap? Great. The exact same Uniswap code's right here. I just think it's going to be insane. Like, oh, you want to make money on Link? Well, do you want to pay like $100 to try and make money on Link? Or do you want to pay like 20 cents to make money on Link? Because we got the Link ticker right here.
Yeah, so you think a lot of the Hex movement is going to move over to Pulse, and as well as a lot of the ETH movement, just because it's so much more efficient.
I mean, man, when you look at your first like $500 end stake fee and you're like, where's my $500 going? To go pay for electricity pollution? This sucks, right? I think a lot of people in the Ethereum ecosystem, hexagons and not, will prefer to transact on PulseChain because the tokens are there. They're free. You change one setting in MetaMask, there's your tokens. Every token you love, there you go, right here. It's beautiful, man. It's really beautiful. And we're going to get to market a lot quicker now that, we got rid of that one actual pretty hard to do thing. Like, hey, let's rewrite everyone's balances. Yeah, that's really hard, actually. So glad we don't have to do that now.
Yeah, congrats on that. I'm excited to see it play out. Go ahead, Harrison.
One question I have about the fork, you're copying over existing projects, like say a project like Synthetics, which maybe they can't get enough throughput on Ethereum. They want to use your network instead. Mm-hmm. When they copy over, everything's
they need to build the front end. Like if the Synthetics guys want their users to be able to use the PulseChain network, someone has to. I mean, if it's an open source front end, it's quite easy. Like someone from the community just made a Uniswap front end for the PulseChain testnet, and it works, and that's it. Because it's very easy to do, because the Uniswap front end is open source. So for projects that have open source front ends, it's very easy to just point them at the PulseChain IPs instead of the Infura Ethereum IPs. It's very easy.
How are we sure those are secure that are going to be built on top?
It's the same code. Okay. It's like it's the same.
Because it's open source. So right. Okay.
It's so almost entirely open source, yeah.
My concern is that like the assets that are on Synthetics on Ethereum are the actual real assets, but when they fork over, they're going to be a bunch of fake assets.
Well, it's the same code, but yes, they're not the same values. So, okay, what's a tether worth on Ethereum? Well, usually around $1, I guess. But what's it really backed by? Well, we know that it was fractionally reserved massively and still held its peg. So we know that stablecoins can be fractionally reserved and hold their pegs. Okay. Well, what if you have a stablecoin on Pulse, let's say Tether, it's backed by nothing. It's not redeemable for anything. But will it go to zero? I bet it won't go to zero. I bet it'll have some value. I don't know what the value is. I don't know. Now, look, those guys have admin keys. They could go and validate everything. But maybe the users sue the living crap out of them for taking their money. Don't know. It's going to be real exciting. It's going to be real amazing. So
I agree that it will have value because people like to show off money, and it's fake money, but they'll have some value in showing off, hey, I've got 100 million Tether worth in my wallet.
The thing is, you can't, with Uniswap, you literally can't actually trade something to zero. It's physically impossible.
Right.
So anything that has liquidity on Uniswap literally cannot trade at zero. It's impossible. So it is going to have some value. And with this yield farming thing, if that coexists at the same time the bridges do at launch, you're just like, the sky's the limit. Because think about how many hundreds of millions of dollars go into every stupid, dumb new yield farming thing. Every dumb new yield farming thing gets like a couple $100 million from plebs like Justin Sun, etc. Like 3 Arrows Capital and Justin Sun and some other tards will just ape into whatever. You're like, all right, good. I hope you don't get rug pulled. And you're just like, hey, I can make 20% on my stack, but you might lose your whole stack. Like, maybe don't do that on this unaudited code. So dumb.
Are you guys planning to prune any of the Ethereum history in the merge over to Pulse?
Sadly not. So it's just abusively, retardedly gigantic files that we're having to deal with, around 9 terabytes in size, and it really sucks. So, we made the design decision to bring over everything, and there's everything there. But if you're trying to, boot up a new node, sucks to be you. You'll be waiting a long time. But that's how it is.
So one of my main concerns about Pulse is, you've been berating Matic for having admin keys where technically they can steal all your money.
Oh yeah, I think we're going to be screwed on that as well. So I had made the assumption that the same logic that allows atomic swaps to transmit value trustlessly between two networks would obviously function for bridges. But then when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, for some reason, it doesn't. I still am not exactly clear or sure why it doesn't, but the same atomic swap technology that allows you to do trustless transactions across chains doesn't work for bridges. Now, we might be able to figure it out and find a way to do it in a trustless manner, but it ain't worth delaying getting to market. People are losing millions and millions and millions of dollars and polluting millions and millions of dollars extra, more than needed. So it's more important that we get to market quicker than that we solve that issue. And
wait, can you clarify what the issue is exactly?
I am unaware of any in production trustless admin key free bridge. I am unaware of any in the entire world.
Oh, God.
It's not something you can copy paste. It's not something that exists. Everything boils down to some type of federation or admin key.
So
I hate it. It sucks, but it's just where we're at.
So you're saying you're going to suffer from the same vulnerability that Matic has?
I believe so at the beginning, yes, as far as bridges are concerned. But look, who has that risk? People that use the bridge. Do you have to use the bridge? No. You can dump your E asset for your Pulse asset, and you have no bridge risk whatsoever. So if you don't like bridge risk, then don't bridge stuff in, and you don't have to worry about it.